Hello, everyone. I am Antonio Cooper with Destination Ann Arbor, and today we are here with Merrill Guerra of Dragonfly and Birch. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good.
Good.
So we are here to talk about women-owned businesses in Manchester area, and you have been in business for over 20 years. So first off, how were things when you first began?
So I've been not in this business for over 20 years, but I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. And so I have had a wide variety of businesses from a professional organizing service to a startup company that I ran out of Ypsilanti, Michigan, doing plus size clothes for kids. And then I became a realtor, and this is kind of the latest project and extension of who I am.
Well, I'm curious, what was like the first inclination of, hey, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to do this. Do you remember like the first idea that popped into your brain for that?
Really, it's more that I am. I joke that I am not a good employee because I like to be my own boss.
Yeah.
But really, in seriousness, it was really born out of being a mom with young kids. And I was very intentional about wanting to. I actually had my first job, it was a regular 9 to 5. And after my first child was born, a year into it, I decided that I needed to spend more time with my kids. So fast forward to the second child, and also having this ongoing need to have projects and do something productive and interesting, and have a little time away from the kids too,
Yeah.
for sanity's sake. It just made sense to create a project that could become a business that would both give me, flexibility, an ability to be creative, productive, useful, solve a need. Everything I've ever done has been kind of geared that way. So that's kind of the background.
With the city of Manchester, the women-owned businesses are thriving. How do you try to help organize or help motivate, I should say, the businesses around this area?
There's very much the desire to support all businesses, but absolutely there is a special camaraderie and understanding among other women business owners. As a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us are moms, but we all have families and commitments that pull us in different directions. That there's just an understanding and a shared experience there, that by both supporting the community but really having those connections with other women, it just makes it a little bit easier and more comfortable to do business in a community where other women business owners and can reach out to them, if you have a need or a question or whatever.
So let's talk about Dragonfly and Birch. What
Yes.
was your original vision for this business? Because it looks phenomenal. First off,
Well, everything. As an ADHD folk gal, my latest craft project that I had stumbled onto was I had started upcycling glass, like vases and things like that, interesting glass, and adding art to it. I very quickly realized that selling that, at craft fairs or whatever, was not what I wanted to do, and I wasn't interested in online. So retail store sounded really great, but you can't build a whole store around one product line like that.
Yeah.
Like there's just not the market out there. So the next, in terms of creating the store, I knew I wanted to create something that would really feature local, especially, but Michigan artists and craftspeople. And so that was how the idea was born. And that's really what we do here. I was very fortunate in getting the old Black Sheep Tavern space, which then opened up the ability for us to also feature the craftsmanship of Michigan wines. And loose leaf teas. And so it's been, kind of a continuing evolution, which is just kind of how I do things. It's very like an intuitive, like, oh, you know what? That feels like it would be the right thing, the right next step. So, so that's kind of how it's grown. But really, it was just born out of this. Oh, this feels like a fun craft to do. So, it's a big leap from there to here, but here we are.
Earlier, off camera, we were talking, and you mentioned a little bit about your career as a realtor.
Yes.
So I'm curious, how do you balance being a realtor and a business owner here as well?
It's actually, well, again, it helps to be your own boss in both areas. So I can, work with my schedule that way, although the store schedule is set. So that's kind of, in concrete. But I am a broker, so I have 2 agents that work for me. And, when needed, they step in to help. And really, I focus, I have my past clients and that I continue to work with, but I really focus on supporting my agents. And then, that gives me the ability to, to be able to handle both. But every once, you get, real estate is always feast or famine. So you just take it as it comes. And, and when it's busy, you make things work. And when it's not, you get a lot of other things done. So. And
before coming here in 2021, you had a very community-driven mind state. You offered a lot of community support. So I wonder, how did that translate, that community-driven mindset, translate to this business here and supporting the Village of Manchester? Oh, absolutely. It's a great question. I have this need to be connected to my community. And so I basically find, different ways where either there's a need or there's an organization that I can volunteer with. And often they're related to, when my kids were growing up, it was very heavily focused around, the high school and activities there. When I had my business in Ypsilanti, I was very involved in the Depot Town Association, which then became the Depot Town Community Development Corporation. So really, like, I have an organizational and nonprofit skill set that really lends itself to supporting and being a part of these organizations. So really, it's just finding the ones that intersect with, my interests and the needs of the community, and that's what I was very quickly able to do here in Manchester. As a business owner, there are lots of different ways that businesses need support in the community, and so becoming involved with the DDA and now the Michigan Main Street program have been a perfect intersection for both my interests and the needs of the community. I also am involved in the Michigan Historical Society, or Michigan Manchester Area Historical Society, MAS, we call it, and again, because this is such a historically vibrant community, that we have a wealth of amazing historic buildings and historic interest, and just so many things have happened here, and we have an amazing group that is really curating and protecting and keeping alive a lot of that history, so that for generations to come, people will understand where this community has come from, and I think it's important to look to the past as we plan for the future. Absolutely, and I am curious about this. Why the name Dragonfly? Because I noticed that you're very dragonfly, even today with the green and the green earrings. Why the dragonfly?
I get very intentional
Mm-hmm.
about choosing Dragonfly and Birch. Both elements have, they're both symbols of different things that are very meaningful to me, but also very appropriate to the business. So dragonflies are symbols of transformation, becoming an enlightenment, and birch is a symbol of flexibility and change and growth and adaptability. And both of those elements are things that are both important to me, but also things that I wanted to, have evidence to my business. And I knew that I didn't want anything that would describe whatever it was going on in the store, because it's just because of who I am, it's always going to change. There's always going to be something new, different, will grow and evolve with the community, with the times, with my interests. So it's a really good concept that encompasses that feeling and that ideal.
When I was reading on your business, one thing that I noticed is that it is rooted in sustainability.
Yes.
Tell me, why was that such an important thing to highlight when opening this business?
Because our planet's dying. Sorry. No, but really, it's become very important to me. Do what I can on a small scale to do what's right for the earth, which I also feel is another way to support my community. And so I long ago figured out that I can no longer look at huge issues. I don't have the energy or bandwidth or emotional fortitude to go out there and do big things. But what I understand is that we each, just by our every small action we take, it's like a ripple in a pond. And so every time someone buys one of my locally created out of a vendor in Adrian or artist in Adrian, shampoo bars, we're not using all of that extra water. We're not using plastics that are just going to go into a landfill. I want to be the drop in the pond that will hopefully create the ripples that will make lasting change for everyone.
I love that quote. That is such an amazing quote. And I understand that you offer events here as well.
Yes, we're just getting into that. So, but for our first one coming up, we're doing Tammy's Tastings has added us as her fourth location in Michigan to do cocktail classes. So we have one coming up in September, cider season, and we'll be featuring our local cidery, Albert Orchards. They do both hard cider and also obviously the regular stuff. And it's going to be a monthly class moving forward. We also are looking at, we have different readers who come in and do tarot reading and card reading and other things like that, and looking at putting together some events combining that and either tea and tarot or wine and tarot, and eventually as I continue to figure my stuff out, I definitely see the possibility of doing smaller things like bridal showers and fun little things like that, and which people have reached out to me and shown an interest in. So again, it's always the part of me that likes to figure out something new and try it and see what happens.
And I just have one last question. For the first time person who comes in here, what would you like for them to know?
Oh, I'm actually going to reuse a quote. I said we did an article in another publication, and the gal asked me kind of a similar question, and I said, we have such an amazing small town feel, but it's the best kind of small town feel that that you are looking for. We're quaint, historic. The people are warm. You walk into the business and you're greeted warmly, and we love having visitors. And it's just it's a great place to visit. It's a great place to live. As a women business owner, I feel very supported. And again, having having such a great critical mass of other women business owners, just it's I'm not finding really good words to describe the kind of support that gives you, just knowing in it you're not alone, and you've got other people who've got your back, who want you to succeed. And I think one of my favorite, when I'm in a business setting, or especially business development type, and community growth, one of my favorite sayings is, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I really think that that is where most people are coming from in this community. They really, they understand that in order for one of us to succeed, we all need to succeed. And when one of us succeeds, the rest of us are going to benefit from that success. So, it's a win-win situation, which is obviously the best there is.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Merrill Guerra with Dragonfly Birch, and I greatly appreciate this interview.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming to our community.
Awesome.